Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Tuesday, the 21st day of May 2024. By His grace, we're alive and we're here. We're yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Make a difference despite short period. President charges ministers and deputies. And you can tell how excited they are. You see the smiles and everything. Why are we taking a paper off? Registering minors to vote dangerous. Child rights. IE outlines 17 measures to halt city depreciation. Damaged undersea internet cables fixed. NCA. The Ghanaian Times. Don't promote insults, misinformation on platforms. NCC chairperson warns journalists. Advise or warn? CDS Africa calls for comprehensive public education on anti-LGBTQ plus bill. 25th anniversary celebration of Ochihene launched. OSP CAGD saved 34.2 million cedis through payroll checks, December 23 to April 24. Daily Guide, Nana meets majority minority. Extend registration timeline, Nana Kwame Bediako tells EC. 2 Togolese arrested for voter fraud. Ochihene launches 25th anniversary. The New Crusading Guide, government fully accounts for $200 million Garrett project, Works and Housing Ministry. OSP CAGD uncover ghost names on government payroll. Assemblies of God begins construction of legacy temples. Snate sets record straight on decision to sell 60% stake in hotels to Rock City Hotel. Akufo-Addo charges media to uphold high journalistic standards. Ochihene launches 25th anniversary celebration on ascension to Ofori stool. The Insight. Alleged illegal exploitation of gold by Adamos Resources. CSO petitions President, Chief Justice and Speaker. New Force leader Nana Kwame Bediako calls on EC to extend duration for limited voter registration. Socialist Movement Ghana commiserates with Iran over tragic death of President Ibrahim Raisi and 8 others. As NCA celebrates World Telecommunication Information Society Day, Dr. Joe Anochi reveals Ghana's digital agenda is geared towards nation's digital economy. The Daily Statesman. Akufo-Addo meets majority and minority leadership. Upper West Chiefs Lord Bawumia's integrity. Snate, Rock City Hotel participated in a legitimate bid. Ochihene to mark 25 years on Ofori stool. The New Finder. Ghosts chop in quote 2.8 million cedis while OSP controller saved 34.2 million. Upper West Regional House of Chiefs touts Bawumia's honesty and transparency. You can make a difference in 7 months, President tells new ministers and deputies. Halt sale of Snate hotels to Brian Champon, TUC. Daily Post. Ngo Alawa as Bawumia deceives nursing trainees again. Kokobo trial. Lawyer condemns CJ's actions as beyond impunity and unconstitutional. That is Francisca S. Boatin. Very, very, very interesting analysis there. You should have a read of that. Election 2024. Government illegally recruiting NPP full soldiers into security services minority. Will stop sale of Snake shares in 4 hotels to Brian Champ, organized labor. Weird order. Arrest anyone who stops a minor or a foreigner from registering. Greater Accra Police Commander tells personnel. Economy Times. Ghana cedi to rebound. Bank of Ghana likely to hold policy rate. Ghana awaits $200 million from ECOWAS Bank. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning is the former Member of Parliament for the Okankwe North constituency, the Honorable Fuseni Issa. Good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
Right.
Good to be back. I've not been here in a while.
Yeah, we've been looking for you.
Oh. I've been around.
Okay, all right. Also with me on the show this morning is the Deputy Director of Special Duties. One day when I grow up, I'll look for that position, Special Duties. Yeah, Broja Jeffy is here with me on the show. Good morning, Yao.
Good morning, Doc.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I hope you are good too.
Yeah, by the special grace of God,
Thank God.
we're doing well. Anyway, so if you're thinking of getting a toothpaste that will take care of the entire family and save you some money, especially in these times, the recommended family toothpaste is Kel 360 toothpaste and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. Kel 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasu. It's available in all supermarket malls and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864798. Kel 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple, self-support elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lifts and Elevators at Sakumon or just call them on 0200 535515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movements. Okay. So let's start off with something. And I have seen the story, it's in my newsreel as well, but on front page of the Daily Post, it says no Alawa as Baumia deceives nursing trainees again. Now, we all know how this happened. If I could get a video of the young girl at that function who raised the issue of the allowances. So, is it Youth Connect?
Yeah,
Dr. Bamia, yes, Youth Connect. And at the Youth Connect, the vice president was the flag bearer of the MPP when speaking about the nursing training allowances and obviously throwing a jab at his contender in the election. And when it was question time, this young nursing student then actually revealed that she was in a final semester. In fact, they will finish in June, next month. Next month they'll be done. And that she hasn't received any of the allowances. Obviously, the vice president was taken by surprise, and he said that he was going to check. Let's watch that video, and then we'll take the sequence of events.
So we have to follow people who have vision. We don't have to follow people who think in terms of impossibilities. We think in terms of possibilities. When my opponent was in government, he abolished the nursing training allowances. And we said, we will restore the nursing training allowances, and we have restored the nursing training allowances. Can you trust my opponent with nursing training allowances? You cannot.
Ubodi, now school. Then you ask your question, then we go 4 questions, and His Excellency is ready to answer all your questions.
My name is Abdulalim Jaria, a nursing student from Techima Nkobo NMTC. The question I want to ask is, when are we getting Alawa? Since I started my school, since first year, I've not gotten Alawa until now, and I'm in my last semester now. And some of us are not being able to pay our school fees. Next week like this, we'll be writing our exams. Those who who will not be able to pay their fees will be sacked. They wouldn't be allowed to write exams. So if the Alawa were given to us, they would have been able to pay their fees. So my question is, when are we getting Alawa?
Thank you. If I try to ask a question, I know what to say, am Thank you very much. Your Excellency, these are the questions from the youth of Bono East region. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those questions. I think the first question had to do with when we are getting alawa for our this thing. So I think that is a question I will take to the Ministry of Finance. I wasn't sure of where you were with your alawa, but I think that I will check with the Ministry of Finance immediately I return, and I will make sure that they pay you your alawa if it has not been paid. I will.
And so people who have been communicators for the party, people who have been IT.
So this is how it began. And then I think the next day, or about 48 hours after this incident, the vice president then announced at another function that he has directed the Ministry of Finance, and they are going to release 177 million or so to pay these bonuses. Now, on that same day, we then got the data from the Coalition of Nurses and Midwives, which then detailed what was outstanding, what the picture was. Because after this incident, there were people who were making all manner of claims. Some said, oh, the nurses have been paid, they've not been paid. There are people who say that they have received, and those who have not received. And we're asking for the data. So we got the data as to where we were with the nursing training allowances, and we put that data out here last week. And the data will clearly show you from the 2020 batch.
2017 batch.
Sorry, 2017 batch, those who completed in 2020.
Yeah.
So you will see when we put that data on pretty shortly, you see that even those who entered in 2017, the year of restoration, so that's it on your screen. You see that even those who entered in 2017, who finished in 2020, they are still owed 1 month. Those who entered 2018.
I mean, all of them, the whole batch.
Yes.
Everyone in the 2017 entrance.
Yes, there's one. Then 2018, they completed in 2021. They are owed 3 months. 2019, they completed in 2022. They are owed 4 months. 2020, they completed 2023. They are owed 15 months. Then if you look at the 2021, you have the 2-year course. They are owed 17 months. And then you have the 3-year course, which is where the young lady who asked the question, she will be part of this one. They will finish next month, June. They are owed 27 months. And you know, theirs is calculated, 1 year is calculated as 10 months. So they don't do 12 months. It's calculated as 10 months. So they are paid 10 months of alawa for 12 months. So they are owed 27 months and they will finish next month. Then those who came in 2022, they will finish in 2025. As of now, so they have done about 20 months of schooling. If my math is correct, or less than that, less than 20. They are owed 16 months. And for those who started in 2023, they are owed 9 months. Now, about 30% of trainees have not received any at all. So there's a 30% who have received 0. So when the lady says that she hasn't received any, for her batch, some have received 3 months. Her batch, they received 3 months. But there are about 30% who have not received anything at all. So these are the outstandings from when the restoration started. Then we're told that the vice president says that he has directed them to pay. They are going to pay 177. They'll be paid on Thursday. In fact, we saw some text messages that suggested, Dr. Koboy was here, and he explained that the 177 was going to cover 4 months. So they were going to pay 4 months out of whatever was outstanding. So this is what he gave us as coming from controller in terms of what has been paid so far, the number of months that have been paid, and what was outstanding and the number of trainees and all that. This is the information that Dr. Koboy gave us. So the 4 months, what we couldn't tell was whether it was just for those who were owed 27 months, or it was for all of them, because as we speak, there are about 3 or 4 cohorts that are still in school. They are yet to finish, and they are all owed 15, 17, 27, and what have you. Now we're told that the Thursday also didn't happen.
It's Tuesday today, or you mean Thursday last week?
Thursday last week.
Right.
Yes.
Let me say good morning to
So
you.
we're showing text messages of people who are supposed to have received allowances on the Thursday. So what happened?
Let me say good morning to you again.
Yes, sir.
And a good morning to brother. Before I come to your question, let me say a good morning to the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, His Excellency, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Yesterday, he was able to bring to a close his tour of the northern regions. And I must send a big congratulations to him and express our profound gratitude for the reception that he got everywhere he went in the northern regions. I believe that they are going to keep faith with him come December 7th and give him the mandate. He says that they should give him an opportunity for him to prove, given that he's, even as a vice president, what he's been able to do for this nation, given the opportunity to be in the driver's seat, he's going to do more. Then again, yesterday saw the swearing in of some ministers of state and their deputies at the presidency. I should send a big congratulations to all of them, particularly my own people in my own corner, Honorable Titus Clover, Honorable Dr. Okoboy, and of course, Bobo, the man, Ejapa Mesa. I should say a big congratulations to them, and I'm sure that they would actually perform to the admiration of the whole of Ghana.
Part of the ministers.
Tourism.
He's now
Minister of Tourism.
oh, I see.
Nurses allow and matters arising. For me, when I first saw the clip, I was very happy that the vice president opened himself up for all sort of questions from the young people of this nation. There was no screening. There was no pre-arranged questions. He opened himself up to be asked any question because he knows that he's performed. He knows that he's up to the task. He knows that he has answers to anything in this country because he has been doing the work that Ghanaians actually gave him to do by helping or assisting the president in the governance in this nation. So he opened himself up. Typically, others who probably would have had done some screening or some pre-arranged questions and all of that. So it's good that issues like this are coming up. And also his reaction to the question. He didn't rush to a conclusion. He said he was going to find out at the first forum. When the question came up, he said he was going to find out why. And from your data, I haven't seen anything contrary to this one, so I have to work with your data. There are varying degrees of outstanding allowances across the whole policy. But then, typical of us, we have a policy that is running. But you see, this whole thing, it takes me back to my university days, where in our days, we didn't have so we applied for Senate loans. And it was typical for it to be staggered over a time. Maybe because of some information that is outstanding per you, the applicant, or some administrative process or so. I mean, looking at your data this morning, why some classes or some years are owed 27 months, some 16 months, some 9 months. Well, it could also depend on the amount of time they have spent in school. Obviously, the person who went to school in 2023 will have a shorter time in school, and so their outstanding allowances might be shorter than somebody who went to school in 2021. But I also want to question whether, in the case of that specific lady, whether everyone in the school had the same problem, or everyone across the year group had the same problem.
The data I showed you shows that for her year group, and please put that data on, not this one. The data that we showed you, shows that for her year group, they are owed 27 months.
My question is that every member of her year group in her school,
yes,
or across the whole system?
Yeah, so I just want to show you that for her batch, in the entire country,
everywhere,
those who have received any bonus, any allowance at all, are owed 27 months.
So some people within her year group have actually received some allowance.
So if you look at them, 2021 3-year course, 27 months as at this May.
Randy, what I'm trying to find out is that whether everyone who enrolled in 2021 is owed 27 months.
Yes, not everyone.
Some people were enrolled in 2021 but have received some allowance, so they are owed less than 27 months.
No, so that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Right.
2021, you have the 2-year course and the 3-year course. So for the 2-year course, they will spend 20 months. They will be paid 20 months. They are owed 17 months as at May. If they are finishing in June, then by June they'll be owed 18 months, which means they've been paid 2 months. For those who are doing the 3-year course, as at May is 27 months. They'll finish in June, so it'll be 20. They'll be owed 28 months. It means they've been paid 2 months. But there are 30% who have not received any at all. So the 2 months that they are, some of their mates have received, they haven't received any at all.
Rather, let's even narrow this thing to the 30% who have not received anything at all. So there's a reason why we enroll in the same year, we enroll in the same college.
Yes.
Meanwhile, 70% of the students who enrolled with you in the same college would have received some form of allowance at some point. 30% have not received at all. It meant that there was something in the system which is either inhibiting the 30%, whether it's data collection, whether it is there's something. I mean, for the two of us to enroll in the same college at the same time, both of us eligible for the allowance, both of us haven't gone through the process. Why some will receive, some won't receive, it's something that beats my imagination. I can't sit here and profess to have all the answers to that sort of thing. But essentially, after the Vice President had reacted to that particular query from the young lady, he went on to another destination and had said that he'd engaged the Ministry of Finance. And there had been some discussions saying and giving some specifics as to,
and that on Thursday as
to when specific amount, 177, like you're saying. Dr. Okoboy, who is now the health minister, now the health minister, and obviously this matter falls in his purview. He is confirmed that some 4 months are going to. Certainly, I mean, the release is going to be from finance. But once it's confirmed that some 4 months was supposed to have been paid last Thursday, you know our systems and all of that. It's Tuesday today. I'm keeping faith with the promise. I can only keep faith with the promise that
I'm restraining myself for now because I've been shown text messages by 2 people.
Yeah.
2 people, and when I say people, I don't mean just anybody, who say that those messages were sent to them by nursing trainees. And first of all, that 177.
And those text messages, one of 2 things.
Yes.
Are the text messages a promise to pay?
No.
Or they have
received. First of all, we're told that. So I wanted to know what the 177 covers, especially when we got the data of the total areas.
Outstanding, yeah.
And we're told that it was for 4 months.
Right.
So I asked, the 4 months, does it cut across all, or is it just for a particular batch? That answer I couldn't get because there are different batches who are owed different monies. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So they were supposed to have been paid 4 months on Thursday.
Okay. But you see, also given the data that you have, and given the number of students involved in this whole outstanding allowance, there are thousands and thousands of students. And I'm sure that when this a matter like this comes up, maybe it is also not in the interest of everybody for us to still be doing the firefighting stuff, because those ladies complain from a particular college. We look at their instance. I think that it's also good for us to look at the matter across the board. And so there has to be some level of reconciliation happening, and so that we are able to know the extent of our standing allowance and what the government can immediately do about it. And so I expect that myself, I have been also receiving queries from last week as to when those allowances are going to be paid. And so I am hoping and praying that it won't be too long, per the promise of the Vice President, we should be able to get to this matter done. And then, but you see, essentially, this allowance has become part of the fiber of these training colleges. And yesterday I heard Dr. Okoboy made a statement to a couple of nurses at his constituency when he donated a bus to Lekma. He said, look, I really would prefer somebody who is undertaking to make payments to me, who will have some outstandings, rather than somebody who will scrap the whole payment. I agree totally with him.
But is that a sincere statement?
Why is it not sincere, Randy? Randy, look, if you undertake to give me something.
No, you should ask me why. You should ask me why I'm asking that question.
No, I am speaking. Maybe you can.
No,
you can
I asked you
explain.
a question.
Yes.
Because
for me, I think it's a sincere
from where you're
statement.
going.
Yeah.
From where you're going, it
Yes,
appears
please.
that you don't appreciate the question I asked.
Oh, of course.
I said sincere because the regime that said that they would discontinue the training allowance. What they said was that they were going to replace the training allowance with a SNID loan. They didn't say that they were going to scrap the allowance and end it there. They said they were going to replace it with a SNID loan. Was that the case?
Oh, you see, there was a regime in place of nurses and teachers' allowance being paid to students in the colleges.
Yes.
And I come up with a policy first to scrap it and then look for an option.
Yes.
So it's a two-step approach
Not
to
look
it.
for an option. The person announced the option that we are replacing.
And then replace
this.
it with something else.
Yes.
I mean, replace it with something else. And it's one thing giving an allowance that you don't have to repay, and it's another thing taking a loan. I took a loan when I was in university, and many people like myself did. The repercussions we have had to live with over time. But this is what the regime had in place. It came in with a policy to scrap it and look for an alternative. That's fine. That's an option. We have decided to come and restore it. And I'm saying that I would every day go for a regime that will make me a promise, pay some, have some outstanding, but I still have the expectation of receiving it, rather than someone who will give me an option that becomes, look, with this thing,
If you look at school next month.
If you look
next
at
month.
If you look at
for the 3 years
see,
that you
that is why
the 3 years that you on the program,
that is
you've
why
been given
that
only
is
2
why
months of allowance.
Randy, that is
those
why
who finished earlier, who are old, they have not received any of what they were paid.
That is why my query addressed the 30% that you mentioned.
Now I'm not even dealing
no,
with
no, 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 but
I'm dealing with
it's
those
all
who
part
are
of
older
it.
27.
It's all part of it. It's all part of it. How come? Because I recollect my experience with students' loan and my experience. As we were in the analog system. So it was another thing where you had to go to the Senate office, take fingerprints, your guarantors had to come there, take fingerprints, and depending on whether some officer in Senate actually okays it, then you can go through. Somebody will come and say, oh, this fingerprint is not too clear. So it means that although you went there with the same person, your process is gone through, that person's process will have to be stayed and corrected. So these are all, I mean, that was the analog systems. Now we have thanks to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, we have close to a perfect digital process. But even in this process, somebody might have to go in to do some level of completion of the process, and they are unable to do it, or some college is outstanding in some data collection. It's all possible, because what I'm fighting with, my point is that how come 100 people go into school, they all are eligible for this loan, they go through the processes, 70 of them are able to finish up and they get their allowance, and 30% are unable for some reason.
So you focus on the 70.
Yes.
The 70 who have received
so
2 months allowance, they will finish their 3-year course next month.
But the truth is that if ABBEY issue from the starting point, 30% are falling off. It also could make that as you go, some people might lag behind, either they are not in school, some people, and given the experiences we are having in other sectors, some validation will have to be continuous. Validation, even in this digital system.
But the
validation will have to be continuous.
She's in school.
I understand.
They went to her school. She says that I have not received one.
Nobody.
The data shows that they are about 30% of her.
And
so what else do you know? How do you conjure something that doesn't exist?
That is why I'm saying that. Why 70% will go through, and her or the 30% do not go.
Maybe you should be providing an answer for her.
Something that we should find out. Okay. Something that we all should find out in the system why it is so, and we need to resolve it.
To be honest with you, this thing happened a week ago.
Yeah.
On the 14th.
Yeah.
There are institutions and persons
certainly
who are responsible for all of this.
Certainly.
Well, it took, and I salute Dr. Koboy, at least for providing us with some information in terms of what has been paid over the years and what will be done and who this covers and others. But for that piece of information from him, we were at sea with virtually everything. The question is that you're raising. This lady has raised the issue. And it wasn't something that was raised just somewhere. This is something that was raised to embarrass, which embarrassed the vice president, not to embarrass, but which embarrassed the vice president. Because he was in an overdrive. He didn't even know that what he was touting and talking about, there were people who had not even received one, or people who have been in school for 3 years and been given only 2 months. He didn't even know.
So thankfully, the minister
and so once an issue like this has happened, all those people who have been appointed and all those institutions, shouldn't they be providing information? If, for example, because the
information is
not coming. The nurses and the midwives on their part, they have provided the data.
Right.
That batch by batch by batch, this is what is owed.
Oh, so that data is coming from the
from the
midwifery council.
Not the council, the students.
The students.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Their coalition. They have provided that. So this, for us, this is what we are owed. For those who work on behalf of the state, if, for example, you're saying that the 30%, there might be some reasons why. What are those reasons?
But the fact
they should be telling us.
Randy, the fact also remains that the fact that
at least the lady identified her institution, and she spoke about the fact that she's in her last semester,
right? And
spoke about the fact that she has not received one peswa,
right?
Shouldn't be somebody to, if nothing at all, shouldn't somebody be speaking to her particular issue?
But you see, the fact that, like you say, Dr. Okoba has provided some information.
Not this information. I'm saying he has provided some information.
Some information.
Yes.
Means that.
Because if you have provided all the information, the questions you ask, he won't even ask.
Means the fact that he's been able to provide some information.
Yes.
Means that some work is going on since the matter became topical.
Some work. Like what?
Of course. Like the information Dr.
Like the Thursday payment.
Like where we are. Like the outstandings, like the Thursday payments that's being processed.
Okay.
You know, I mean, taking money from the consolidated fund. There's a multi ministries involved, Ministry of Health.
But where did he give the deadlines? Where did he provide the deadlines?
Certainly, I can sit here and give a deadline, but when I go down on the ground to work, things might pop up.
No, we're told that this is the information from where the team has come
Randy,
from.
The truth is that before this lady and people like her in colleges have to receive their money, certainly there has to be some basis, there has to be some reconciliation, there has to be some validation ongoing. And I'm sure that it won't be too long, within the next days, per the promise of Dr. Okoboy, we should be able to resolve this matter and move on.
But according to
the
Dr.
promise
Okoboy,
to
even the 177 was for 4 months. What we weren't even too sure was whether the 4 months was going to cut across all cohorts, or was for a particular cohort.
Certainly. I'm sure that if Parliament had approved Okoboy long ago and he was, he would have been able to pay the citizens.
Okoboy doesn't pay money.
He doesn't pay, but it's in his pay. I mean, he's a minister of health, so I mean, it is in his purview. So
look, I think that we must first commend this young lady who was able to confront.
He who feels it knows it.
Of course, yes. But you see the courage to even stand before the vice president.
But she asked the question in a very respectful manner.
Exactly.
Very respectful
yes,
manner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know that she later.
You have not praised the vice president for opening himself up.
Oh, please. Let's be serious.
Well done, Mr. Vice President.
Let us be serious. You see,
that should be fine, right?
Doc, I've read about the lady's complaint that after that event, some people had called to threaten her. And so I think that those things are not helpful because she spoke the truth, and it is the vice president who opened himself up by claiming what he has not done.
In fact, he didn't know. If he knew these facts, he wouldn't have said what he said.
Doc, I don't think that the vice president didn't know.
He didn't know?
No. On that point, I disagree with you. Because you see, these nurses and midwives student association has been complaining about payment of allowances for God knows what time. Look, you can scan through the media, and you will find consistent complaints from nurses that the allowances are not being paid. And so the vice president cannot claim not to know. He thought that he could get away with it, as he has always done. And for me, this is one of the reasons why the president has refused to open himself up for the media. You would notice that this government has consistently run away from engagement where they will be put on the spot, ask very critical questions that borders on the economy, that borders on their performance. And so the vice president thought that this was one of the platforms. Of course, they had created the platform, so he could get away with that. Firstly, he lied when he said that his predecessor cancelled nursing training allowance. That is not true.
Why?
And that's a barefaced lie.
How?
Nursing training allowance was never cancelled. Never.
But you communicated the intention to cancel or replace.
There was a proposal of replacing nursing training allowance with the student loan. So
but it didn't happen.
It never happened. It never happened. You see, this is one of the many lies Dr. Bawumia peddles and goes away with it. It was teacher training allowance, which was actually cancelled and replaced with student loan.
Okay.
Now, government intention was to do same with the nursing training allowance.
But that wasn't done.
Yes, because government's attention was drawn to the fact that nursing trainees
they are
not under the Ghana Education Service. They are rather under the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
And so they could not be put on the student loan trust fund.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the decision to cancel nursing training allowance was stopped. And the allowances were paid to them. In fact, under NDC, nursing training allowance was far better than what they received under MPP.
Why is it far better? What do you mean?
Okay, so they were paid every month of the year. 300 cedis, yes. Whether they were on vacation or they were
you mean for the 12 months?
For the 12 months.
Okay.
MPP came and decided that they will rather pay only when they are in school.
So you are saying that this 10-month or so thing is new?
It's new. It is new. And they did the same thing with the teacher training institutions. So nursing trainees were receiving their allowances.
As what you're saying was that hitherto they were paid for the 12 calendar months.
Exactly.
Whether they are in school or not.
Whether they are in school or not. And it was not just for nursing trainees. It was also for agri students.
Okay.
Agri students.
Okay.
Those who attended
colleges.
agri colleges were also receiving the allowances.
Okay.
And then teacher trainees. Then the decision was taken to move all of them to the student loan trust fund. But when government's attention was drawn to the fact that nurses could not be migrated onto it until the law has been amended, all the arrears were paid to them. And so this lie by Dr. Bawumia consistently saying that John Mahama cancelled nursing training allowances. It's something that I was very excited when this young lady was able to confront him and expose him on the spot. And you could see that when he was answering the question, he was fumbling, talking about how he was himself personally going to do a follow-up or give an order and all that. You have failed to live up to your promise to nursing trainees. You said that you were going to pay them allowances. The data as published by the Nursing and Midwife Student Association has exposed you that even students that entered into the colleges when you assumed office, as far back as 2017, you still owe them student allowance. And you still have the courage to go around the country to say that you are the one who has restored nursing training allowances. You are the one that is going to pay nursing training allowances. You have failed on that promise. And look, what is even annoying about all of this is that no nursing student who entered the classroom, who was admitted under NPP administration, has been employed as a nurse. Can you imagine that? Since 2017, the first batch of students who entered the classroom under NPP, none of them has been employed as a nurse. Those who entered in 2017 and completed in 2020 are still home. They have not been employed. In fact, those who are on rotation, the rotation, yes, as we all know, which you turned into national service, they are still owed national service allowances. Some of them have to even complete the rotation several months before they receive their allowances. So you have failed nursing students, you have failed the nursing profession, and you still continue to peddle lies. You still go about talking about what is not as you came to meet. And so I was very, very excited when this young lady exposed the vice president that, look, I have been in school and I'm going to complete.
Her intention was not to expose the vice president. Her intention was really to...
Of course, but it exposed him.
No, her intention was really to get him to intervene for her to receive her money.
And it has exposed him. And it has even brought this issue to frontline discussion. Because I've been reading news of 2021, 2022, 2023. You can find nursing, student nurses angry, demand payment of 2 years allowances. This was in last year, October. And the vice president cannot claim that he did not know that his government has failed in terms of payment of nursing training allowances. And the fact that nursing training allowances was never cancelled, was never cancelled. But he continued to peddle that falsehood. And for me, that should have been the end of the vice president on these issues. Look, the next thing I want to talk about is about the attitude of the vice president to create his own issues, try to obfuscate facts, try to lie about them, and conclude with something that he has never done. And that has been very consistent. And I urge the youth of Ghana those who get the opportunity to attend the Youth Connect. Be bold. Whatever you hear the Vice President say that you have knowledge of, that you think is untrue, mount the microphone and expose him. Expose him to the point that he will stop peddling falsehood and going away with it.
Disrespectful.
Not disrespectful. Doc, that's not disrespectful. If he goes to a Youth Connect in the Upper East region to talk about completing the Poalugu Dam, I am calling on the young people in Poalugu, in Talensi, in the Upper East region to mount the microphone and say that, Mr. Vice President, let's go to the site. There's nothing there. This is not disrespectful. This is part of accountability.
Fact checking.
Yes, people must fact check the Vice President. And I hope that with this expose, they will not begin to filter the people who come to ask the questions. If you heard the moderator, he said if...
maybe you guys can help me. Is it true that the fees for the nurses is 3,000 cedis?
Oh, I think some are even more.
I think it's depending on the
Some are even more.
Depending on the school. Or they don't pay one.
I mean, it's all within the same range.
I thought they're all public.
Yes,
Yeah,
all the same
range.
range.
I think it's a range.
All the same range because they have items that they paid for. Maybe you see a little
And
variation.
their semester is how many months? Like 3 months?
Their semester is 3 months.
3 months.
Yes, and they pay like the universities.
And for that 3 months, they're entitled to 1,200.
Yes.
Okay.
And how is that going to even help to pay for more than 3,000 school fees? So the nurses, they are worse off. They've been worse off under NPP in terms of this allowance issue. And many other issues.
The fee has gone up. It was less than
3,000.
it
was less than that. I think under NDC, nursing training fees, I stand to be corrected.
Because the allowance under NDC was 300 cedis.
Yes, it was 300 cedis.
So that's what as we speak now, there's been an increment of 100 cedis.
It's 400
over the 8-year period.
Exactly.
But what about the fee?
If you strike the...
No, but what about the fee? I want to compare the fee as well.
I'm coming. But if you look at the number of months that they are paid...
Yeah, it's lesser.
It's lesser.
Now.
Yes.
Okay.
So you find that even looking
so
at
you
the
are
economic
giving,
condition...
You are giving 300 by 12 months. Now I'm giving
so
400.
we are giving 3,600
okay.
for the whole year.
Okay.
And then we are giving 400 over
400
over 10 months.
Over 10 months.
And that's better than
400 cedis.
Yes, it's better than...
For 8 years.
Yeah.
You want to compare the economic situation.
I want to compare the
fees.
fee too, yes.
You want to compare the fees.
You should look at the fee too.
I think that, yes, I can remember they were paying less than
my producers are also checking on
1,500 or so. Yes, it's gone up. It's gone way up. Yeah. Yes, so they should check that for us. And so the nursing students are worse off. When are you going to employ these nurses that you admitted that went through the colleges during your time? Those who entered from 2017, completed in 2020, are still home. They have no employment. When are you going to complete the hospitals that were started by the NDC so that you can have more spaces to employ these young nurses who are sitting in the house, who have been picketing? Some of them, when they picket at the ministry, they are arrested, taken through several inhumane, conduct by the police. These are the issues that the Vice President must sit down and address and stop going about lying about everything, peddling untruth about the former president, claiming that nursing training allowance was cancelled when in fact nursing training allowance was never cancelled.
All right. Right. I saw you taking some notes.
There's an article on Ghana Web.
Okay.
On the 16th of December 2023.
Yes.
Why I cancelled nursing and teacher training allowances.
You're reading a headline.
Oh, I'll read the story.
No, you're reading a headline. Just
yeah, the headline.
Because I know that story.
I'll read the story.
Yes.
I mean, with your permission.
Please do.
The flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has disclosed that the reason behind his decision to cancel nursing training allowances was to use the money to build more health infrastructure. Those are reportage from Ghana Web. It is all coming from me. Speaking to students at the Nursing Training College, John Dramani Mahama explained the reason behind the decision to replace the allowances with loans.
So was it done?
Oh, I mean, he cancelled it.
No.
There was no more allowances. Oh, what are you saying?
No, I'm telling you that. You see,
this is in 2023. This reportage is in December 2023. He is saying the reason why he cancelled these allowances. This morning, for the first time, I am hearing that nursing allowances were never cancelled. It is the first time I'm hearing. Because consistently.
I'm just trying to show you something. Hold on. I'm just trying to show you something.
Yeah. Right.
When you're reading a news item, please be careful.
The direct quotation
Look
from
at the direct
person.
quotation as against what the writer or reporter has written.
And so I am reading the portions in inverted commas, which portrays.
Because I have the same story.
At a point, when we try to explain the reason why we were replacing.
So now you are quoting John Mahama?
Yes, I'm quoting him.
So go ahead.
The article.
Please go ahead.
When we try to explain the reason why we were replacing your allowances with student loans, people did not understand us. What we wanted to do was build more cheap compounds, more hospitals, and more health facilities, more health centers, so that when you come out, you can get work to do. That was our intention. So the reality is that the allowance as it pertained was cancelled.
What in what you have read says that it was cancelled?
But the guy says that he replaced it with something else.
It says when we tried
to
explain.
He tried to explain. One thing is trying to explain, and the other thing is actually undertaking the policy.
Just relax. You don't need to shout over this.
I am not shouting, Randy.
So when we tried to explain the reason why we were replacing your allowances with students' loans, on the basis of this, are you telling me that the nursing allowances were replaced with student loans? Because that's what he's saying.
But that's what he's saying.
So it was replaced with student loans.
Yes.
Has any nursing trainee ever gone for a student loan?
Prior to 2017, I am not in a position to say that.
So you've been told
I am
that
not in a position to say that. It didn't happen.
It was a declaration of intent.
This is him speaking in 2023.
He hasn't said that I did it. He said that when we tried to explain the reason why we were replacing allowances with student loans, people did not understand what we wanted to do.
When we tried to explain, the people did not understand.
Yes, so continue.
When we wanted to do was to
Yeah.
build.
Is it what we wanted to do? Yes.
That was his intention to cut the allowance and put the allowance
And he did that
somewhere else.
And he did that.
Of course, I mean, what is there to prove that he didn't do it?
I mean, honorable. You see, you must take viewers.
Ready for us to sit here for the first time. I'm hearing that
You have come to claim that
He's explaining the rationale.
No, on this point, I think that you must allow for.
I sat here when I allowed
you must allow for.
He was explaining the rationale behind cancellation of the allowance.
Yes.
And what he intended to use the funds for.
Yes.
And then today, for the first time, I'm here listening and hearing for the first time that nurses' allowances were never cancelled.
Yes. But he's told you that teacher allowances was cancelled.
So nurses, as of 2016, were taking allowances in this
you didn't
country.
know.
Is that the case? Is that the case, Randy?
But that's what he's told you.
You didn't know.
Oh, please, come on. This is a man explaining the rationale behind this policy. And then all of a sudden, jumping out and this issue of lie. What is lie?
I think that.
What is a lie? For somebody who's admitted that for politicians, it is okay to lie. He is the biggest liar. And then we should move away from this whole thing of somebody lying and lying. Of course, I'm surprised.
Because
I'm surprised by well. This morning
for some time now. And you have been exposed.
I think the fee at the Kolebu, the Nurse and Midwifery Training College at Kolebu is 1,652.
1,652.
Yeah.
And then they are getting an allowance of 4,000.
Have you seen it on
the 4,000 is a year? This is per semester.
Per semester?
Yes.
I'll pull one for you. But Doc, the point I'm making is that NPP has gone about peddling this falsehood for a very long time, that NDC cancelled nursing training allowance. In fact, they try as much as possible to put that together with the teacher training.
A journalist says, he says that the nurses were even paid on tabletops in 2016.
That's the point I was going to make. That was in November.
And the government was ridiculed.
That was in November.
Okay.
It was in November that they were paid cash in the various nursing training institutions.
I remember that story.
Yes.
There were pictures.
There were pictures
of
their queuing and taking the allowance. So you have peddled this falsehood. You have been exposed. I was expecting that you produce any official document from government as evidence of cancellation of nursing training allowance. All you could do is to pull up a story where former President Mahama was explaining the rationale of replacing the allowance with the student loan. And in fact, on many platforms, former President Mahama has explained why that decision, why the government decided to backtrack and to continue to pay the allowances. And so stop peddling that falsehood that NDC cancels nursing student allowance and you came to restore it and pay them. Those who entered school in 2017, you owe them 1 month.
Okay, so
my
production is come up with it. They say that so for a year, the 2 semesters, as at 2016, it was 2,500.
Is that
2016, end of 2016, it was 2,000.
For the 2 semesters?
Yeah, so the year.
The fees, not allowance.
Fees, sorry, 2,500. It's now 3,800. So if I take the Kolebu 1,650 something, so
times 2,
that's about 3,900. That's about 3,900. So that's it.
That's about 3,900.
Yes.
Yes, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, 3,900. Some universities.
Not per year. This per year.
This per year.
Yeah, per year.
Okay, so if you want to look at it in terms of the.
It cancels out. I mean, 4,039 cancels out against 3,600 and 2,500. Yeah. So you can go on.
So honorable.
Hey,
never say this anywhere.
Randy.
Never say this anywhere.
There's a book by
this is your evidence.
I still stand by this. I still stand by
it. It's pathetic.
I mean, explaining the rationale. Even he has to explain it in December of 2023. Speaking is as usual. He had the intention.
Go and pay them.
Go and
pay them.
Rolled it out.
Those who entered in 2020.
Won't be too long.
You are owing them 15 months. Those who entered 2021, you are owing them 27 months. 2022, you still owe them 16 months. Go and pay them.
I did prefer that.
Go and pay them. And make sure that they are employed. They have completed school since 2020. They are still in the house. They have not been given clearance. They have not been employed. Former President Mahama has stated that he's going to decentralize the recruitment of health professionals. He's going to make sure that districts open up and announces vacancies so that health care professionals can apply directly to the district that they want to work and they will be employed. And we have given a firm assurance of completing all the abandoned health facilities and employing all the people, the backlog from 2020 up to today. We'll make sure that all of them have employment, all of them are able to earn something from a decent job as healthcare professionals. They were not trained to stay in the house. They were trained to work. They were trained to provide services for Ghanaians. And that is what your government must do. That is what you must engage yourself in doing.
If I didn't know.
Don't order finance ministry to pay only nursing training allowances. Order finance ministry to issue clearance for nurses who are sitting in homes to get employment and to get job to do.
If I didn't know John Dramani Mahama and was making these promises, I would really would have believed him. But knowing his history and what he did as president, I won't I won't touch it with a 6-foot pole.
All right, we'll be back shortly. Back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have the Honorable Hussein Issa and Yao Broja Jemfi. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, as God and Mola got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Shall we play this game and make some mola? Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesuku, that could somewhat be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. You can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208-128-190 or 055-001-0000. So last Friday, on this show, the Member of Parliament for the Northern constituency, the Honorable Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa, disclosed that he had petitioned the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice over a purported sale of SNAIT's interest in some hotels to the Minister of Agric and Member of Parliament for the ABBEY constituency. And he gave us the details of and basis of his petition right here on the show. Yesterday, I'm sure that Annie read that to you. SNAIT also issued a statement stating its position as far as the matter was concerned. And in that statement, SNAIT informed us that there were 4 of those hotels and not 6. And that as far as they were concerned, everything was above board. And since the matter has been reported to Shraj, SNAIT, were going to go with the Shraj process, cooperate with Shraj, and they believe that they will be vindicated at the end of the day. Now, yesterday, organized labor, and when we talk about SNAIT and SNAIT money, it's our money, it's our pension money, it's our money, it's our money. When we don't pay, they haul us to court. I don't know why they've not been able to send any government official to court for all the monies that government owe. But if we owe, they write to us and they send us to the courts that sit on Saturdays and Sundays, yes, and we have to pay and all that. So organized labor, which also sits on the SNAIT board, has held presses. So the boss of TUC has spoken, and the boss of CLOSAC has also spoken on the matter, and they have issued an ultimatum. Let's watch organized labor, and then I'll pick the views of our panel on this matter.
We view that the process was flawed. Our reps on SNAIT board were very clear in their demand that for a number of reasons, the process be halted. But from all indications, it appears the process is going on. And in fact, they are even speeding it up. And we don't think that is right. We do not think that the regulations that guide the sale of state assets were followed. We do not think that the necessary due diligence was done. We cannot imagine that state properties will be sold to a minister of state. For us, it smacks of state capture, and that should be stopped, and stopped immediately. And if the Minister for Pensions, who is also Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, fail to stop SNET, we workers of Ghana, we own the funds. We will stop that process. We, at the May Day, requested that we wanted to meet with President on this matter. You may recall that we asked the President to convene a meeting with leaders of organized labor to discuss SNET, and this is one of it. And our reps on the board of SNET had intimated that things were going on that require the meeting between President and the leadership, and we didn't want to bring this up in public. We still insist that the President should make time for us to discuss this and many other issues about SNET that our reps had brought to our attention. May 6th, today is May 20th. We expect that the President will invite us as soon as possible, because there are many other issues that we need to raise. There are many other issues our reps have brought to our attention that we need to discuss with the President himself. We will not allow pension funds to be toyed with. And this is our last warning. This is the last warning to those who are in charge of this country, that workers of Ghana will not allow our pension funds to be used anyhow, especially when assets of the pension fund is going to be sold to the Minister of State. This is not right. As for your second question about...
Should I go ahead? Yeah, thank you. We want government to know that these funds are not government funds. These funds are pension funds. And pensions are guarded by the Act 766. We have investment guidelines under Act 766. And clearly, these guidelines have not been followed. Government should be aware that we will not allow them to play chaskele with our funds. Should they dare go ahead, it will be the mother of all strikes in Ghana. Thank you. Issues with that statement, and we have outlined our issues in our statement. We don't agree with that assertion. We think proper due diligence was not done. And we, as the major stakeholders for pension funds, we must not sit idle. And I repeat, our pension funds are used for chaskele. We will not allow it. We are not happy with the due diligence that was done. And that's why we are calling that it should be cancelled immediately.
See, the Abapado Bekwad. Anyway, so that was you saw Dr. Yalban, the TUC Secretary General, and Dr. Bampuado, who's the CLOSAC General Secretary, speaking to the media on these issues. Broja, I'm sure you've been following this matter.
Yes, Doc.
The charge is also acknowledged receipt of the Honorable Kujato's complaints to them.
Yes, yes. I think that we must commend Honorable Ablakwa. I watched your show when he came up with this expose. But for him, this transaction would have gone on unnoticed. I'm sure the leadership of organized labor are taking this up because of that expose.
Well, the Secretary General made...
yes, that I think they are reps.
Yes, because you see, all along, people have raised the issue. I've also raised it.
Yes.
That, look, their reps are on... Labour has about 3 reps on the board.
Yes.
You know, and I know that the Deputy General Secretary, the Deputy Secretary General of TUC is on the board as one of the reps, you know. But he's made a point that their reps informed them about the issues, and that the reps had raised those issues and have asked that they hold on until those issues are cleared. But it appears that people are going ahead with the transaction. He speaks about other things that he believes he thinks the president should be engaging them, and that there are other things that are happening to the use of the pension funds that there are serious issues with. Yeah. So at least for once, the Secretary General has told us that there are members on the board
who are not in agreement.
Yes, the members on the board didn't just sit there and allow things to happen, and that in fact they had raised these issues and asked that it be halted. But
it appears they decided to go on. And I'm saying that Honorable Ablakwe's expose has really brought the issues to the front discussion, and it's made the leadership of organized labor to also come out boldly for us to hear them for the first time. And so we need to commend him. He has done a series of corruption expose, and I think that if there's one member of parliament under this parliament, in terms of this, the parliament of 2021 to now, that's the 8th parliament, yes, who has been consistent with corruption exposes and has helped in protecting the public purse. That's Honorable Ablakwa, and it will not be out of place if we commend him. You remember that his expose on the purchase of a building in Norway to be used as Ghana's consular office led to the abrogation of that sale. And so for me, he's doing quite well. And the issues that he has raised are not issues that can be treated with kit gloves. Let me put it that way. Because if you read the response from SNET, it appears that SNET does not appreciate how serious these matters are. And yes, of course, they confirm that Honorable Brian, the Champions Hotel or company, is the one that has been given that deal, confirming exactly what Honorable Ablakwa has said. But it appears that they are not really concerned about all the issues that are coming up. And so I'm very, very happy that organized labor has added a voice. And if you listen to the communication, you could see some seriousness in what they are communicating. And I think that they mean what they say. Because they said it's a last warning. One of them, I think the CLOSAG rep said that they were not going to allow government to play chaskele with pension funds. And so this is good that it has come up. It's now before Shraj. I think that Shraj must go into it. They must do a good job when it comes to conflict of interest issues. They should really address it properly, not as they did with the Ken Bond issue. Because, look, issues of conflict of interest, the Constitution is very clear. It's not just about real issues of conflict of interest. In fact, perceived and likelihood of conflict of interest. That's what the Constitution says, if you read Article 286. Likelihood of conflict of interest should even be a matter of concern. That public officers should not put themselves in a position where their personal interest is likely or will conflict with their public functions. And I've just chanced on the letter, which was again published by Honorable Ablakwa, that the Edina Traditional Council, I'm sure, Doc, you have seen that letter. They wrote to the Director General of SNET that the minister himself led investors to the Elmina Beach Hotel to inspect the facility. So it tells you how the minister himself is personally involved in this deal. And this is a clear case of conflict of interest. And this transaction must not proceed. They say that if you read the response from SNET, they say that initially there were 6 hotels that were up for sale. They have abandoned 2 and are now concentrating on 4, which means that the initial procurement processes that were started had been abrogated or amended midway in order to suit the minister. Honorable Ablakwa again has exposed that sometime in 2022, SNET's interest in Grand Regency Hotel in Kumasi, 25%, was sold to the minister. What is it so special about Honorable Brian the Champion that SNET has these sweet deals with him? What is it so special? If you read SNET's response, they say that they started the procurement processes in 2018 when the Rock City Hotel had not even started operation. And again, Honorable Ablakwa has produced evidence to show that an interview with the Miami Herald, the hotel itself said that the first phase was opened in 2019. If SNET started these procurement processes in 2018, how come a hotel that was opened in 2019 was able to run past those that are submitted bid a year before the operation of Rock City Hotel? So all of these are very legitimate questions that people are asking. That why the rush? Why the minister? President Akufo-Addo told us that if you want to make money, don't come into his government. Go to the private sector. That is what the president told us. And 7 months in this administration, there have been consistent, persistent interest of government appointees treating government offices as though they were managing their private businesses, profiting from government agencies, profiting from their public offices. Ken Oforiatta, Ghanaians have been crying for many years about how his businesses were profiting from the loans that he was heaping on Ghana. Today, Ghana has to do a debt restructuring program, which is going to cost the country huge sums of money. Look, last week, I got to know that all the delayed projects, the financiers have written to government that they will not finance the cost of the delay. And these are over 100 projects that the cost of, because government has written to these contractors to hold on, and they are keeping their workforce, they are paying them all at the expense of the taxpayer. And so it is government that is going to pay the balance of all the delays. How did we get there? Because Ken Oforiatta was contracting loans, his company was profiting from it. In fact, the first bond that was issued, the $2.25 billion bond, Shraj confirmed that the finance minister's business dealings with one of the directors of Franklin Templeton, I think Trevor Tregain, they established that the finance minister has something to do with him. And so all of these things that have come up, how former deputy minister of finance, minister of state at the Ministry of Finance, Gold Star or Black Star company, was also benefiting from transaction advice and a whole lot of things. Up to today, President Akufo-Addo is not interested that his ministers are benefiting from public office they are operating as though they were in the private sector and making money in government. Something that he had cautioned ministers, his to-be ministers in 2015. This is what they are doing. And many laws, Article 98 too, because Honorable Brian Echampo is a member of parliament, is the Speaker of Parliament in the known that is engaged in this business. Has the Speaker given him any permission to do that business? Why government appointees are interested in capturing state properties, the way the Ejapa deal was executed, persons in government businesses served as transaction advisors, legal advisors. They were paid huge sums of money. The deal never happened. We have not gotten our monies back. So this is one of many things that have gone on under this government that I think we must say enough is enough. This Brian Echampo Senate Suite deal must not happen. If it is for that reason, the Director General of Senate was removed under that bizarre circumstances, directing him to hand over quickly within a few hours, then it will not happen. If this was the reason why Osafo Mafo's son was took over from the former Director General, this should not happen. This deal must stop. The organized labor must not take their eyes off. They must continue to agitate. The minority in parliament must show maximum interest, take this before the House of Parliament, and stop this deal. It should not happen. I saw a scary report from the ILO about how the funds of investment portfolios of Senate are being managed, as if the monies belong to some private person who decides how to invest these monies. And they have projected that by the year 2030 or so, we will not have anything called Senate. That Senate is going to collapse. And so we should not allow these things to happen. Collapsing state institutions and profiting from them, using individuals who are connected with government, those who are even in government. Look at how PDS was managed, to the extent that a facility, a grant that was going to be given to us by the United States. Are you now the timekeeper?
I have not said anything. I have not.
Okay, I don't understand that. So I thought you were talking about time.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't about you.
Because he looked at his time, so I deduced that from the gesture. Look at how PDS was managed.
You see, I have to be careful, brother.
How monies that were given to us for free by the United States government, because of President Akufo-Addo's cronyism, how he wanted persons close to him to benefit from the deal. He called the bluff of the United States government and said that take your money if we are not allowed to do what we wanted to do. What did they want to do? They wanted to bring back all the interest of private individuals who had come together and redistribute it so that those that they put there as quoted unquote stooges will give back the interest to their cronies. So we lost huge sums of money. These were monies that we were going to invest in our electricity distribution sector. We're going to replace transformers. We're going to change transmission lines. And we lost that money because of greed, avarice on the part of government and government appointees. So this deal must not go through. We have to stop it today, and it must not happen.
Honorable.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, you don't want to speak?
Of course, I want to have a take on this. Randy, thankfully, maybe over the last 20 years or so, for one reason or the other, I have opportunity to use some of those facilities which are topical today. And I must confess, from when I first was exposed to most of them to where they are now, I think that there is something fundamentally wrong with the way we have managed this assets that state has significant interest in. Today, it baffles me. I'm a bit taken aback as to what the problem is. Are we being emotional about some of these things? Divestment of assets that state has interest in did not start today. We have seen major state assets being divested. At a point where we had a DIC and all of that, we've gone through all those processes for one reason or the other. With this, oh brother, when you were speaking, I was here. I was seated here. Please. This particular transaction, I tend to ask myself, is the problem with SNIT? Is the problem with the potential buyer? Is the problem with the process? And I'm not too sure.
Organized labor, they speak about two things.
I am not too sure.
They speak about process and who the person is.
Okay.
Or the position the person holds.
The position, okay, let me take it from the position the person holds. I don't think there's anything wrong. Anything wrong. Because the same constitution that Broda referred to, Article 78, Article 98, gives processes that a minister or a member of parliament can go through and still hold an office for profit. And once you go through those processes, they are very...
Says he hasn't, and it's part of his
or maybe,
documentation.
I don't know the processes or the data or whatever information available to Honorable Ablakwa. But if I have interest in this asset, until it's acquired, I cannot go to the speaker to say that I have acquired this asset and henceforth going forward, I'm going to be CEO of such an entity. Not until the transaction is completed. No. What I'm saying is that if I am going to the speaker to apply to be the CEO of ABC company, I must have had ABC company before I go ahead.
Yes. So if I have a registered company, I have a registered company, the law enjoins me to seek permission from the speaker to continue acting as a director or shareholder of the company. So if I have not done that, have I offended the law?
If he has not done that, and so I mean, Honorable Ablakwa is saying this. I'm not too sure what the situation is with Honorable Brian Echampo, whether he's actually done that filing and he's appeared before the committee.
I'm just saying that that's the claim by Honorable Ablakwa.
But my point is that
he relies on documents from Parliament.
My point is that there is a process. It is not untoward. It is not untoward for a member of Parliament or a minister to hold an office for profit. It is not untoward. Processes has to take place. And once those processes are complete, there's nothing wrong with it. So the fact that he's buying and his hotel is acquiring this interest in these assets, it's nullified. The other point Broja made was that...
What nullifies it?
That if it's untoward for him to hold an office for profit. He needs to go through processes, and once those processes are complete, there's nothing wrong with him holding an office.
The petitioner is that has not been done. I
am not too sure. You see, there's a committee in Parliament that determines all of that.
Yes.
There's a committee.
Yes.
I am not too sure about the information available to Honorable Ablakwa. I am not even too sure whether he belongs to that committee. I'm not too sure. So, but my point is that, and what I want your viewers to know, it is not out of place for a member of Parliament or a minister to hold an office of profit, so far as the processes that he has to go through are done. The other point Brother made was that Rock City started in 2019, and that this whole process started in 2018. In 2018, the processes that started was the identification and the engagement of a transaction advisor. At that point, Rock City didn't need to have shown an interest. Not until EOI or RFPs were invited from potential people who were potentially interested. So that point as well, it's moot. My big worry about this is that SNIT has a board. I think it's about 25-member board, quite a large board, the last time I checked. The labor, I'm also a contributor to SNIT. I check my status quite often. So I know that I'm qualified for a pension at this point. Yeah, I started working longer. You know, Wally, order. See, it's good that Senate has reps on the board. But you see, when... You mean Labour. Okay, Labour has reps on the Senate board. That's the right rendition. And in the whole process, they have had and raised issues that they claim have not been acceded to. I'm wondering what those issues are. Maybe in the presser, he should have come out to say whether it was the whole process that they were not happy with, whether it was evaluation. But to say that because it is going to a minister or... What he said
was that their reps said that they have raised issues and that they asked for the process to be halted.
Halted?
Yes.
They might have had reasons.
But they realized that despite the issues they raised at the board and asked for the process to be halted, SNIT is still going on ahead with the project.
You see, they had gone further on to say that one of the problems they had or the issues they had was the potential buyer, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't attributed to their reps on the board.
They had issues with the process.
Labour doesn't have an issue with what you are talking about.
The board, their reps on the board had issues with the transaction.
Yes.
The TUC Secretary General
has
told us that he has issue with a potential buyer.
Yes, they said they have.
But we cannot put the two together and say maybe the reps on the board had issues with a potential buyer.
No, I'm just saying.
Remember that this whole potential buyer.
Chief, I'm just saying that let's be careful.
See,
the TUC boss didn't say that their reps had an issue with a potential buyer.
Okay.
It could well be that they did, but that's not what he said.
See,
with what we played. So.
Thankfully, once upon a time, I had the opportunity to go through some of those international competitive tendering processes. And I can tell you, the processes are so detailed that not until the end of the process, you will not even know who the potential buyer is. And so for you to have been part of the process, only at a point where probably it comes out who the potential buyer is, then you begin to have issues. I don't know. The exact issues that they have, I'm not too privy to it because he thinks that they need audience of the president to discuss some of these issues. But what I want to say is that, look, per the explanation given by Senate, where they started off to get a transaction advisor, at the point that they did an EOI expression of interest or the response for proposals, RFP, I think that what I've seen so far, the process has been transparent. And it shouldn't be because it is Brian Echampo. What if it was Brother Jemfi? I mean, why should Brother Jemfi qualify as a Ghanaian?
My name is
Broja Jemfi. He qualifies to acquire an interest in a state asset, but Fuseni should not. I mean, I cannot reconcile those two positions because A, who's a political office, the political offices are not perpetual. It will come to, and at one point in time. So if I have the privy and I have the capacity to acquire interest in what is a transparent international process, I really finding it very difficult to reconcile the position of Labour. Maybe the issues the TUC Secretary General is talking about, because I'm not privy to, I cannot. But you see, when I started off my working life in 1999, after I finished university, the company I worked with was in the communication workers, and given my political activism on the campus of Lagos, when I got into that company, I unionized the labor. And so I joined the Communication Workers Union then. And I tell you, the trade union, I have an idea of how they themselves operate. I am not impugning any, but you see, what I'm saying is that, look, labor, if there are issues, let's discuss those issues. Let's ensure that this process is transparent and every Ghanaian has a fair opportunity at acquiring those interests. And remember, we are talking about majority stakes in there. And for me, my personal experience with some of those facilities, I think that divesting those interests, getting somebody who has a capacity to run them. Look, Ghana has gotten to a point where December in Ghana is, and the lack of hotel rooms perpetually has been one of the issues in this country. We don't even have enough rooms. The cost per room in Accra is so high. It's just time for us to push beyond our tourism industry. And those are very basic things that we should address.
You know what?
In Ghana, I know that you have a very good experience when it comes to running this.
Hotel prices?
Oh, I know.
There are 21 taxes and levies.
You have a very good experience. Yeah. And so for me to pay that amount, I need to have the utility of the money that I'm paying. Because I not too long ago, I was in Cape Coast. I used a limit. And compared to what I used to see 18 years ago, I thought that something drastic had to be done to save that facility. La Palm, Labadi. I mean, from where they used to be and where they are today, I think that it's a very good attempt.
We should even check how a place like La Palm has been managed, especially in the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, you can decide to say 6 or 7 years. I might want to even go 20 years.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that because it's a facility that I used perhaps 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and I knew what it was.
Yes, of course. When those facilities came up,
and the issue of degeneration and all that, and those who had the opportunity of appointing people to manage this, who did they appoint there? Was it deliberate?
We knew where,
and make a case to sell them.
Oh, please, come on.
No, it's a question I'm asking.
Randy.
I'm asking those questions because if those people owned those facilities, some of the people they appointed, they would not do that.
So you agree with me that we are at a point. And even before I finish, the ILO research that they did on the SNIT fund, I think SNIT has come out to respond. It is not the fund that is used to pay. It's some of these things, returns from some of these investments. So when the investment committee or whatever of SNIT is realizing that, look, the returns we are making on our investments, it's not something that can sustain our fund over time. It is time to take some of these drastic actions to ensure that SNIT is making an arm's length returns on its investments to be able to make the funds sustainable.
Okay, all right. So that Tuesday has spoken.
So we shouldn't really be emotional about this just because.
I'm not sure that Tuesday was being emotional.
It is. No. I'm not referring particularly to.
I find something interesting.
I want us to finish a process that is transparent enough. And the matter is to Yoko. I'm sure that he'll come out with their findings and all of that.
That he believes in nationalization of our natural resources.
Or indigenization.
Exactly. And that he doesn't want the involvement of any foreign persons in the operation of our natural resources. In fact, in Talensi 2 or 3 days ago, he promised, I'm coming.
Or French.
Please. He told them that he was going to make them business millionaires, small scale miners. Now these are national assets that we are diversifying into private hands. Please. Some persons have been prosecuted from this nationalization and diversification of our state-owned companies. I remember what the late Dr. Sheria Ayite went through together with the wife of a former president, Her Excellency Nana Konadu Adjumani-Rawlings, because of the 31st December, because of the 31st December's involvement in some of the divested entities. And today we are back. We are back to diversification into private hands. And these private hands, we cannot find any Ghanaian worthy of gaining interest in these assets than Akufo-Addo's ministers. This is
we don't have the
serious.
details, and we don't know who put in bids, and we don't know what they put in.
Look, we are told that 8 companies.
But you made reference to the Constitution.
You know what? Let's just.
You made a reference to the Constitution.
You know what?
The Constitution.
Article 78.
Yes.
You know what? You know what, guys? This is.
And it does not preclude.
Let me tell you.
It does not preclude.
Let me tell you something.
Go to 286 and read that.
Let me tell you something. This is.
Go to 286.
See, this is early days yet. This is an unraveling story. We will see a lot more. Don't worry.
I think that we want to hear from SNIT.
But SNIT issued a statement yesterday. They said they will cooperate with
but they have not told us whether the process has been truncated or not. I didn't find that in the statement.
They said they've not done anything wrong. They'll cooperate with SNIT, with Shraj. Now Labour has come in, and Labour says that halt.
Exactly. So that's what we want to hear.
Let's see what's going to happen.
That's what we want to hear.
So I need to quickly.
But what about 286?
I need to quickly do this, but. On our earlier discussion,
to the Auditor General, everything declaration of all property, but he has not. The process is not even finished. Why you guys
respect to our
read this one? Read.
You said 286. I'm reading 286.
No, 284. Read 284.
Yeah, okay, you go.
Read 284. Why is it that you are not interested in reading? Read Article 284.
So on the issue of the nursing and how much they pay and all that, somebody sent me this. I read one which was sent to me about the Kolebu, the school at Kolebu. Yeah. Now this is Nursing and Midwifery Training College Kumasi, and there's a provisional admission by to some persons, and it says that this is 2023, and it says they are supposed to pay 5,159 for male applicants, and female is 5,059. And the recommended textbooks 650 for registered general nursing and 800 for registered midwifery. And it says you come to the institution with your payment receipt from the bank for your admission letter. So this is I think because I mentioned that figure, the 3,000 something, 3,900 something. So that's why this was sent to me. That for the Nursing and Midwifery Training College Kumasi.
Nursing and Midwifery
Training College Kumasi, provisional.
A degree or a diploma course?
I'm sure it's a degree. And this is September 2023. It's 5,159 for male and 5,059 for female. So there's a difference of 100 CDs. So that's the fee.
5,000.
Yes, that's the fee. But let's finish with this. There's a press release from the Electoral Commission. Yesterday, was released yesterday. 2024 voters registration exercise incident at Pusiga District Registration Center. And the Electoral Commission says it has received a report from Ms. Upper East Regional Director on an incident which took place during the ongoing voters registration exercise at the Pusiga District Registration Center on 13th May 2024. Now, it says that the Commission wishes to inform the general public on the said incident as follows. 1. During the voters registration exercise on 13th May 2024, a data entry clerk observed suspicious Ghana card numbers on 17 registration forms. The data entry clerk notified the district electoral officer accordingly. Upon investigation, it was revealed that the Ghana card numbers were fake. It was further discovered that a registration officer was complicit because he did not physically inspect the Ghana card of individual applicants, but rather accepted a fake number from party agents who had accompanied the 17 applicants. Now, it goes on to say that it was further discovered that the registration officer was complicit because he did not physically inspect the Ghana card of individual applicants, but rather accepted the fake numbers from party agents who had accompanied the 17 applicants. The registration officer was dismissed. A report was made to the police, and he was arrested. He has since been granted a police inquiry bail while the police continue their investigations. The 17 applicants were subsequently registered through the guarantor system. While the police continue with their investigations, the Commission would like to warn all its temporary officials that it will not countenance the breach of its electoral laws. Anyone found violating the laws of the Commission will be handed over to the police and permanently blacklisted by the Commission. The Commission assures all stakeholders and the general public that the voters' registration exercise is being conducted in a transparent and inclusive manner. Despite the challenges encountered in the first 2 days, the Commission is on schedule to register the projected 623,000 voters by the end of the exercise. We count on the cooperation and vigilance of all citizens to ensure that the remaining period of the registration is peaceful and successful. Signed by Mr. Michael Boyd, who is the Acting Director of Public Affairs. Now, whilst at this, the National Identification Authority has issued a statement, and that statement has to do with, it says some pilot is doing with the ILO. Was it IMO, sorry. IMO. And yes, migration. Yes. Now, why this has become an issue is that the director of elections of the NDC is drawing a parallel between
director of elections.
Yes.
Not special duties.
No. Dr. Manibuama.
Special duties.
Yes. And he says that this is what he's put out. He says, stop this National Identification Authority's last-minute maneuver to aid illegal voter registration in Pusiga. And this is what he says. He says, when we tell you the NPP has criminalized state institutions, believe us. The National Identification Authority, headed by, he says, Baumia's bosom friend, Professor Kenatifwa, has strangely chosen this voter registration period to embark on a special pilot program to issue Ghana cards to Ghanaians living along the borders of Ghana and Burkina Faso in Pusiga. The NIA states that, quote, all Ghanaians living in Pusiga who have not been able to register are encouraged to do so. The choice, few days after the eagle eyes of the NDC voter registration agents in Pusiga caused the arrest of the officer of the Electoral Commission, Muazu, who was using a single Ghana card to register multiple people to vote on December 7, 2024, is curious and suspicious. This NIA exercise, marked as a collaboration with IOM, is simply to aid illegal voters to embark on the last lap of the voter registration exercise. The NIA wants to give the people driven away from the Pusiga Registration Center Ghana cards in order for them to register within these final 7 days and vote on December 7. The NDC will only allow legal registration of voters. We have instructed our agents to do the needful. And he says, recall that in the NDC press conference held on Thursday, 16th May 2024, we said, quote, ladies and gentlemen of the press, we are compelled to address another grave concern, the flagrant abuse of the Ghana card. It has come to our attention that EC registration officials, in collusion with elements from our opponents, the MPP, are misusing the Ghana card extensively. A particularly alarming instance was uncovered at the Pusiga Registration Center, where EC registration officer Muhazu Al-Hassan used a single Ghana card to register over 20 applicants. We further added, upon discovery, the police were promptly notified, leading to Muhazu Al-Hassan's arrest. Although he has since been granted bail pending further investigations, this incident raises significant concerns. The MPP's distribution of Ghana cards to minors to facilitate their registration underscores a systemic manipulation of our electoral process. The EC has lamented the registration of minors, yet conspicuously fails to challenge the National Identification Authority for issuing cards to these minors and misrepresenting their ages. Why is the EC's database not integrated with the NIA to instantly verify the ages of new voters, especially when $54 million of taxpayers' money was invested in 2020 to secure biometric registration capabilities? What purpose does the NIA serve? And so this is the statement issued by Dr. Omani Buama, who is the Director of Elections. So this is the NIA statement. So it says the NIA, in partnership with IOM, begins special registration for the Ghana card in Pusiga. It says the National Identification Authority announces to the general public that in partnership with the International Organization for Migration, it will commence a special pilot Ghana card registration for Ghanaians living along the borders of Ghana and Burkina Faso, beginning Monday, 20th May, that was yesterday, to Friday, 14th June, 2024 in Pusiga. The special pilot registration program will span over a month and will be conducted in 2 phases. Therefore, all Ghanaians living in Pusiga who have not been able to register are encouraged to do so. Phase 1, 20th to 31st May. And the places are there. Wedana, Pumako Area Council, Kulungugu, Pusiga. Then phase 2, 3rd to 14th June, the areas are there. And then you have a phase 3 as well. Now, some very interesting questions arise. I've already told you that what Dr. Manibuama has done is to link the Pusiga incident, where incidentally you had a Ghana card which was used, one Ghana card was used to register 17 different people. And they say they have subsequently been registered with this one. And it says that now the EC has accepted that fake Ghana cards are being used to register. It says Tumu, Golu, and Hamile are all border towns. Why are they not on the list? So on this list, You don't have Tumu. I'm not too sure. Tumu, Gwolu, and Hamile. They said they are all border towns. Why are they not in the list? And for me, what I found intriguing is why have this exercise at a time when we are having a limited registration exercise? Couldn't it have been done before or after it? Because obviously, people are going to read a lot of meanings into it. Even if it were a coincidence, the incident at Pusiga, and then this statement about doing a pilot at the time when we are having a limited voter registration exercise and all that. I don't know, but that's the claim of the NDC. And he says that he made this presser on Thursday. That is when he put his information out on the 16th. Then, just after that, you have a statement that from Monday the 20th, NIA and IMO, IOM are also going to do this over this period at the same place.
Randy.
Yes, sir.
The National Identification Authority has not ceased working because we are having a registration exercise. I am sure that I can walk to Kanku North today, and if I don't have an NIA card, I could get one. Right?
They have a district office in Pusiga.
Yes.
So are they doing a pilot exercise around the border at the time when we're having a registration exercise?
We've always had challenges with people on our border towns. It's not exclusive to the people in that part of the country. Everywhere along our borders, we know about the nature of our boundaries and all of that. So there's always been challenges. So if they did it now, if they did it yesterday, or they do it tomorrow, those challenges will be there. What I want to say again is that I don't know when these issues of minors, I don't speak for the EC. And certainly there is no guarantee, no evidence that this is being perpetuated by the New Patriotic Party. There is no evidence to that extent. But as a Ghanaian who wants a fair and transparent process, my take on this is that, look, the NIA started issuing cards to people who are 15 years, right? And you have to be 18 years to qualify to be registered as a voter as of the time of registration. And so these issues of minors being registered, I mean, it's neither here nor there, because look, if you have the NIA card is a primary identification card. If you had an NIA card and you go to a registration center, based on the data there, you are registered. It is our opponents or the NDC in Parliament who insisted that we should still continue with this guarantee system. Fine. We found it prudent for the inclusion of this process. But you see, in all of this, I think that the EC itself has to take some firm position, especially on its temporal staff. How come you register people by maybe somebody mentioning an identification number over the phone or written on a piece of paper without you physically looking at the primary document? I don't know how it happened. The other one is that who actually discovered this anomaly in the system? If the EC itself, through its checks and balances, the temporal staff, the 17, the NDC agent,
yes.
That's why we have.
So they reported it to the police.
That is why we have the agents today. I am sure that there are places where the MPP agents will also have come up with things. I mean, that questioned the processes. If we have those check and balances to ensure that only qualified people get their names on the electoral rolls, so be it. But post-registration, the EC has processes to also clean the data that they are collecting. Post-registration, there will be exhibition. People still have the opportunity to add and remove from the register. So I think that what we need to do as a people is to support the processes of the EC.
I mean, when you are dealing with these large numbers, and not too long ago, some infographics a couple of days ago also became topical, just because some number of challenges had been repeated between Greater Accra and some other region up north has been also topical. I think that we should rather support this institution. We have agents there. The agents are there to ensure that whatever registration is per CI 91 as amended by CI, I think 126. Those are the existing frameworks. Anything untoward should be but the point again should be made that the fact that we are having a limited registration exercise does not preclude the NIA from doing it. It's doing it in collaboration with the IMO. I don't know the program of the IMO. I don't know when this was agreed. I don't know whether they were even setting on the location and dates before the EC actually came out. Not too long ago, the EC program for the year itself was being. So these are all things that we should take it, and we should not read meanings into every act that is happening and the level of suspicion. For me as a Ghanaian, I want a transparent voter register because I believe
the level of mistrust and the accusations and all these things, especially about foreigners getting onto our voter roll and all those things, and the kind of noise that we've made. At least common sense, if for nothing at all, common sense must tell somebody that you don't do this thing at a time when you have an event linked to an election. If for nothing at all, common sense must tell somebody that on the basis of our history, even our recent history, and the issue of foreigners and all that, to do this at border towns. I hope you understand what I'm saying. We live in a country where even when we are registering, we are able to increase security presence,
close our borders,
and close borders and do all those things. Why do we do that? So when you have a period where you are adding people to the electoral roll, and you decide that that is the period, especially a few days after one of the parties in an election has made an expose about how some 17 people were clandestinely put on the roll by an official of the EC. And that is when you decide that you will do a pilot exercise of putting people on the roll. Obviously, common sense must even tell somebody that, look, it's not prudent.
Well.
It's an exercise that will end. When it ends and you have anything to do, you can still do it.
Randy, you know what? Then again, I hold this point to that. Look, but for the insistence of the NCA, right, that we registered our SIM cards with our NIA cards, a lot of Ghanaians probably will not have bothered to go for those cards. Yeah. Why? Because maybe they have a passport and until recently a voter ID card, which allowed for that identification. So if this registration exercise is happening, and we have one of the principal identification documents as a NIA, I think that it's a period that there will be a lot of pressure on the NIA as well. Mm-hmm. Because when I have my NIA card and I go there, the process is certainly shorter. I don't need to now have guarantors come in to help me. The NDC is complaining about.
So why will you? If that were the case,
the NDC is complaining about distances
if that were the
people,
case,
especially around that.
If that were the case, in the spirit of fairness, why will you do it at border town A and not border town B?
You see. Then again,
why do you even want to do it at this period?
There are 261 NIA offices, and none of them is closed.
That's just because the point I'm making is that despite the fact that you have these offices, you have decided that you conduct a pilot at border towns at a particular place.
Randy,
why would you do it at this period?
I think the problem we are having is a level of suspicion in here, and that's what happens at
but
the
that must also inform you when you are taking a decision.
Where obviously people are moving people from one constituency to the other and all of that because of the perceived or advantage they're going to get when it comes to elections. And so we just have to manage some of these processes well.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, please.
Okay. If a person uses an ID which is not the ID to be registered as a voter, do they commit fraud?
How are you able to use an ID that is not yours?
No, I'm saying if a person tries to use an ID, or in fact uses an ID, which is not theirs, or it is not authentic, to be registered as a voter, Would they be committing?
Then comes in the work of the, especially the Trump.
No, I'm just asking you.
No, but it's obvious that if I were the temporal staff of the EC and I was seated there, and you have come in to register, and you have the Ghana card, at least the very basic thing is to look at the picture and have that recognition that it's you.
So,
right.
so listen
so
to
if
this.
you come,
no, you know what I'm asking.
You are not the person.
You know what I'm asking you the
yeah,
question.
Please.
This is the Electoral Commission statement. It says, during the voter registration, a data entry clerk observed suspicious Ghana card numbers on 17 registration forms. The data entry clerk notified the district electoral officer accordingly. Upon investigation, it was revealed that the Ghana card numbers were fake. It was further discovered that the registration officer...
The question is that, was it one number for all 17 or different fake numbers for the 17?
I'm just reading their statement. Upon investigation, it was revealed that the Ghana card numbers...
So everybody has a different number.
Were fake. It was further discovered that the registration officer was complicit because he did not physically inspect the Ghana card of individual applicants, but rather accepted the fake numbers from party agents, underline that too, who had accompanied the 17 applicants, underline 17 applicants. So from the EC statement, there is a pliant registration officer. Then there are party agents. Then there are 70 applicants. But guess what? You go to the next part. The registration officer was dismissed. A report was made to the police and he was arrested. He has since been granted a police inquiry bail while the police continue investigations. 4. The 17 applicants were subsequently registered through the guarantor system.
Randy, the operative word for me there is that the assistant was complicit. He was complicit.
You still don't get the point I'm making. I'm saying that per the EC statement, the EC has identified 3 principal characters in the perpetration of this.
The complicit officer.
And then it says party agents.
Yes,
and then it has identified 17 applicants. All these 3 parties are part of the fraud.
The EC officer had been arrested.
Yes.
The party agents facilitated. And for the party agent, I have been a party agent since been working and doing this since 1995.
Yes.
You see, when you are there and somebody who you have this recognition with comes, you help the person through the process.
Let the investigation exonerate them. I'm saying that the EC statement implicates them. This is the Electoral Commission statement. I'm not analyzing anything in vacuum.
Randy, the reality is that
if you attempt to register with a fake document, are you not perpetrating for fraud?
Okay, of course you are.
So you say that this statement says that the 17...
And the EC has arrested
the EC says that the 17, that is what they did. Yet subsequently it has registered them. And he identifies party agents as people who assisted the perpetration of the fraud. But they were not reported to the police and they have not been arrested.
Then again, in any case, those 17 people could have got guarantors and they still would have gotten on their electoral roll.
Yeah, but they could have, and what happened are 2 different things.
Yeah, I mean,
we are dealing with what happened as reported by the EC. And I'm asking questions on the basis of the EC's own statement.
Well, the EC officer who was found to be complicit was arrested and he's been granted bail.
So the EC officer went to the people's homes and went to pick the 17 and gave them those fake things and brought them to the center and assisted them to register. That's not what they are telling us.
That is not what I want to believe, because I have worked as an EC officer.
Roger, let me bring you.
There is no point in that I want to be.
Look, but Honorable, you see, must you defend everything? It must not be so. These are issues that, even from the EC's own statement, clearly indicates that something wrong had happened in Pusiga. But look, you see, we in the NDC know that the MPP is very desperate going into the 2024 elections. We know. And so whatever we do, we plan for that desperation. But every day passes and the evidence of the desperation becomes very clear for Ghanaians to also know. So it is not only the NDC that has now seen that the NPP is desperate. Ghanaians can also testify that these guys are not ready to account for their stewardship. They are not ready to face accountability. And so they are doing everything within their power. And in some circumstances, even beyond the power that they have, to ensure that they continue to perpetuate themselves in power. And so the issue that has happened in Pusiga is just one way of exposing that desperation on the part of the NPP. Look, it does not, please allow me to speak. I'll tell you, I'll show you why it is the NPP that is doing this. The issues in Pusiga did not just start with the registration of fake Ghana cards.
There's no evidence that is NPP.
Look, I'm going to tell you that it is NPP.
So show us.
Okay. So they started by aiding foreigners, Togolese, to the registration center in Pusiga.
These are just allegations.
I'm going to tell you, Doc, you hold on. Okay. That is what they did. They buzzed non-Ghanaians, non-residents in Pusiga to the registration center. And our people resisted. In the impasse, the immigration officials were invited in. When they came and interrogated these potential registrants, some of them admitted that they were not Ghanaians. So the immigration officers drove those people away. So this is how it started. Then they now found a means of getting fake Ghana cards to still register these people because they did not even have the Ghana cards. And the people who were going to be their guarantors, when they were interrogated by the immigration officials, said that they didn't even know them. And in fact, some of them admitted that they were not Ghanaians. So the immigration officers drove them away. Now, how do you get those people back to register? It is the reason why the NIA is going to that border town to register people on the border town. Because they have failed to get those foreigners onto the electoral roll. Look at the timing for this so-called phase 1. When is it starting? 20th to when?
14 June.
No. The first phase.
The first phase is up to, I think,
30th May. And the registration is ending on 27th.
Okay.
So they are going to issue these cards to the same persons that were driven away by the immigration officers. So that those people can now come.
Can the NIA just wait to the 28th to start this thing?
To start this thing.
Why?
Why? Because
this program,
they have spent money.
Why do we like creating problems and confusion in this country like that?
This is in bringing people to the border towns, please. To the border town of Pusiga. And Pusiga is not the only border town in Ghana.
Why do we like doing this? Can't this thing wait till 28th?
No.
Can't it wait till 28th?
It cannot wait because that's it, the agenda they want to do.
Why
the
do we want to do this?
Will be over.
Why do we don't like our peace? Don't we value our peace?
And if you listen to Archbishop Duncan Williams yesterday, this is something that government must learn from.
Don't we value our peace?
If people think that Ghanaians are timid, we can let things go. But for the intervention of the immigration officials in Pusiga, it would have turned bloody. It would have turned bloody. But they were able to intervene and got those persons away. And I'm even curious that they did not arrest those persons. Today, on the front page of Daily Guide, 2 Togolese arrested for voter fraud in Buem. Buem is also a border constituency. Why is the NIA not registering people in Buem? Why is the NIA not registering people in Aflau? Elubo, they can't do the pilot in Elubo. Elubo is also a border town. Paga is a border town. Why can't they go there and do it?
I see, it's so curious.
So this is very clear.
Anybody sitting somewhere, a place where you have had an incident, where 17 people, they've seen them.
They're
like
even
this.
20, not 17.
Yes, they like
20.
like this. We've seen them. Now we are even told that these 17 people, we have used guarantor system to put them on. Meanwhile, at another place where we found 2 people,
we
have arrested them. So these 17 people who tried to fraudulently get on the roll, how do you give them an opportunity to get there when they were engaged in fraud in the first place?
In fact,
your statement says that they were aided by party agents. Why have those party agents not been arrested? Then on top of it,
what level of assistance the party agents give?
I'm reading the electoral commission statement.
Yes,
I wasn't there.
But so the statement is saying they were assisted by party agents.
Let me have my time. Let me have my time, Honorable. Doc, in Shai Osudoku constituency, the NDC youth organizer
this is what the statement says. Upon investigation, it was revealed that the Ghana card numbers were fake. It was further discovered that the registration officer was complicit because he did not, look at what he said, he did not physically inspect the Ghana card of individual applicants, but rather accepted the fake numbers from who? Party agents who had accompanied the 70 applicants.
No, in Shai Osudoku, in the last registration, no, Honorable, please, allow me. In Shai, no, I will not allow you. You didn't allow me. In Shai Osudoku, in the last registration, the NDC agent was arrested. Why? Because they arrested some people that they claim were minors. And those people mentioned the name of the NDC youth organizer as the one who asked them to come and register. He was arrested. The Attorney General advised that he should be prosecuted. Why the pick and choose? Why not in all the border towns that we have?
In fact, from the beginning of this registration,
please stop this, it will not help you.
Oh, please.
From the beginning of this registration, government has beefed up security in all border towns. They have increased the presence of immigration officers. Why in Pusiga? Tatale is also a border town. And now what they have done, together with the police, is that anybody who comes to the registration center, the immigration officers should not inspect whether they are Ghanaians or not, because there is a mechanism of challenge. So they should allow everybody who walks to the polling station to register, and then if you have a problem, you challenge.
But that has been your stance.
This is a government
that has been the stance of the NDC throughout.
This is a government that deploys military officers.
That has been the stance of the NDC throughout.
To polling stations in Ketu South, to be inspecting even people who have already gotten onto the electoral roll. On what you are doing is not fair.
Go on.
So you have to stop it. On registration, on voting day, NPP is able to deploy military officers to registration centers to be questioning voters whether they are Ghanaians or not.
That is true.
This happens in many border communities. And so please, what you are going to do in Pusiga will not help you. Of course, we have a strategy in place to outwit you, and it will not happen that foreigners will get into the electoral roll. We will not allow that to happen today. We will not allow that to happen tomorrow. The people you are bringing from across the borders, they are known. We know them. And we are going to use every means possible to make sure that these people do not enter the voters register.
Special duties.
And that is why because we have outwitted you, all the things you have done, it has not worked. You want to use the NIA to aid these people to get some legitimacy and come back to register. It will not happen. And so the National Identification Authority must stop this. What they are doing is not good. It is provoking the people. It is very provocative that you use state institutions to undermine our electoral system. Is it not the NPP that held a press conference after the 2012 elections to display supposed Togolese who are on the register of Ghana, to display persons from across our border towns where the NDC is believed to have some strength there, to expose that these are foreign nationals who are on our register. Today, you want to take machines to the borders to register people who are not Ghanaians and aid them so that they can now have a legitimate means of entering our voters' roll. That will not happen. So the earlier you stop it, the better for you. Doc, again,
we have to go. Our time is
but
up.
let me just end on this. What happened to the EC officers who were supposed to have taken some cash donation from the NPP MP? Up to today,
was that the temporary staff? They were removed that same day.
You see, this issue of temporary staff.
But is that a criminal offense?
Of course, yes.
No. No, it's not a bribe. No, you must determine that it's a bribe. It's not a bribe.
Look, it's only investigation that.
No. So the police are investigating. They reported it to the police. They are investigating.
So this one too is going to be under investigation.
Yeah, they are
up to
investigating.
now.
Yeah.
And it is not true that it's a data entry clerk who identified it. It was NDC agent, and there were actually 20 registrants.
All right.
We broke this story on the 16th. It took
Which
the
one?
EC.
The Pusiga one?
It took the EC 4 clear days on 20th to respond to this issue.
All right. Okay.
This happened on the 16th.
Okay, it's fine.
And then now they respond on the 20th. Then NIA has carried their machines to the border to register persons.
Okay.
We'll leave it.
To give us a fair, credible register.
You are putting the security of this state at risk, and so you better stop it.
My stance
this agenda
is that
of winning elections by all means. It is not good, Honorable. It will not help you because it will not happen. And so, at the end of the day, it will lead to things that we are all not, happy for it to happen.
NDC fighting against foreign.
All right. So that will be it for the morning. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining me. And Honorable, stop dodging us.
Somebody said that his order to the finance ministry means that he's no longer a mate. So he should cancel. He should leave.
He didn't say he will
for the
order. He said he will engage.
tax and the e-levy.
He didn't say he will order. He cannot
all right.
order
So
the
up
ministry.
next, Metro Sport.